Okay.
Good to be back and all, you know. I always love to, you know, come to special places and just check out how people are doing all over the country. And it's one thing about it is everywhere I go, black people are the same everywhere. I go to Columbia, South Carolina one week, it's the same black people. Atlanta one week, I was in Milwaukee last week, same black people. Now you got different types of dead black people. Now it's funny, because the conscious black people all over the country is the same. But now you got geographical people. It only becomes down to you can tell the difference between geographical Negroes based on if they dead. Like in Milwaukee, they was all wearing the James Brown hairdo last week. You know, the dead ones. You know, in South Carolina, it's some other shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I've been on, you know, so just 3 weeks, I was in Atlanta 2 weeks ago, Milwaukee last week. This week here. And before that, I was in Newark, New Jersey. Same black people on the conscious level. You see what I'm saying? Trenton, New Jersey, same black people, but on the non-conscious level, you got different area type black people that have something unique. Well, that's the grassroots, you know, and they unique to, you know, whatever area you in. But as far as the conscious, I'm in New York, it's the same brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? I was in Orlando, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, same brothers and sisters. So throughout the South, it's the same. So that's dealing with the gathering. We'll get into that in a few minutes on what's really going on and why is it wherever we go, we see the same brothers and sisters in the consciousness. It's almost like never leaving the same crowd at home. You know. So I want to deal with that right now. Also, I want to put you down on this particular deal right now. This is what is called Napoleonic Egypt. And these are photographs from Napoleonic Egypt. When Napoleon went up into Hemmitt in the late 1700s, he took about 100 artists with him, and they drew the temples. Now, what makes these so different, because if you go and get most Egyptian books, the Kamite books, the temples that you see up in there has always been ruined. So you don't get a sense of how they used to look when they weren't in ruin. So, and so what happens is every 10 years, Princeton will put out a set of these things, and every 10 years they probably add another $100 on $200. So probably in 2001, when they put this set back out, it's going to be about $300. But anyway, we got it the last time in '91, and so what I did was I took the three major temples. You got the Temple of Dendera, which is redone, which also shows you the zodiac of Dendera on the inside, which we'll get into in a few minutes. You got the Temple of Karnak, the largest temple in the world, a mile and a half long, a half a mile wide. This is Napoleonic Egypt. That's the name of it. Yeah, because see, it's interesting because that set, they only put it out for a limited time, and you know, so they put it out in '91, and then boom, that's it. Once they put out one set, that's it. So, and this is the Temple of Horus. So we also have here the Mother, which is the Temple of Dendera, the goddess Heru or Hathor. The Father, the Temple of Amen, which is also Amen and Osiris is one and the same, because Amen means hidden. There's a difference between Amen Ra and Ra alone. We'll get into some of that too. And also there's the Temple of Horus of Edfu. So we got the Mother, the Father, and you know, it's the Trinity in these temples. And then you have the actual zodiac of Dendera, the oldest zodiac in the world, 9,000 years old. So as a result, I decided to produce some of these for the people, because if you take these and put them in your house and encase them in glass, or just basically mount them, they'll bring certain energy to the room, so you can split up the room. And whatever temple you have in the room, let's say if you got 4 rooms in your house and you split them up, whatever room you go into, the characteristics of that temple, the room will take on the characteristics of the temple. So this is why the Spirit moved me to produce some of these and all that. So we have that. We also have a little book I got out. It's a little thing about a good 7 or 8 pages called Melanosis, Cosmic Blueprint. And so what I'm doing in this particular book is I'm giving short explanations on various subjects. The UFO thing, different forms of Egyptology, different forms of the stuff based on Elijah Muhammad, magic, the Yaku theory. All of that particular stuff is in this particular book. In this particular little book, it's got that, and also we got two rituals. We got a ritual here. We have a ritual here to attract big money. So let's say if you had your eye on a building or whatever the deal is. If you wanted to say, I want to do something, but you say, I need a little bit of capital. Now, big money could mean it only going to give you what you need. You might only need $10,000. You might only need $300 to get what you need to do. So this particular ritual here is coming from Haiti, which is a ritual to attract big money. And what they do is that most of the people, they go over to Haiti, they get this stuff. They come back. They'll invite a whole bunch of people, about 200-300 people, charge them $100 to get in, have food and all that. And at the end of the session, then they give out the ritual. But you paid $100 just to get this ritual. And all. So we have that particular ritual right now to go along. So we got these three things right here, these three things plus the book and all that for like $10 if anybody's interested in it. Anybody interested? Now, one thing about these particular rituals, they do work. But there's only one key to the whole thing. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't work. Because the only thing it's doing is harnessing your own energy. You see what I'm saying? It's only harnessing your own energy. So if you don't believe in it, it don't work. If you do believe in it and you want to get on hard, if you ever stuck on hard time and you out of something, this is something that you need to have. Not necessarily for now, but when you do hard times. You see what I'm saying? That's right. So if anybody's interested from the three packages and stuff, like I said, this is going to be about $300 now. If you try to get it now, it's going to be like $300. Is to get the book now because it's out of print. But when it was out of print, it was like $150. You see, this is the way they do. Now, why do they do this? Why you don't see the reconstruction of these temples? Because the white boy knows that his whole thing, he understands that architecture is architecture explains high culture. And he can show you how much God he is when you go downtown and marvel at his buildings. So if you saw the grandeur of how these buildings actually look in Hemmitt, you will understand that his origin of all that comes from you and what humans have done, humans can do. So one part about the mind control and also a part of keeping you locked down or keeping you to the particular point that you still think he God is not to really show your Godhood. So they'll go and they'll show you you can go to Hemmitt and you can see the pyramids. They'll go and see the pyramids. They'll show you the pyramids on TV, I'm trying to say. But basically, and they might show you a few temples, but the ones they'll show you is always in ruin. The temple of Karnak, maybe the temple of Luxor, but they're going to show you the temple of Aset, Isis. They're never going to show you the temple of Hatshepsut. They're never going to show you the temple of Horus, the temple of Edfu, the temple of Esna. You see them say the temple of Dendera because they are all preserved. So they'll never show that on TV. You see what I'm saying? They're only going to show you the ones in ruin, so you still think of a culture as, well, it's a culture in ruin, but it still is not as great as American culture when you see the architecture now. You see what I'm saying? So this is real key that you even get this for your own psychological aspect. So I don't know, should we do it now? If anybody's interested in getting this particular engraving and stuff, plus the book, plus the ritual and all, you can come up now. Or how you want to do this? If you're interested, you want to do it later? Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do it during the break time. And that way, we'll do it during the break time. And plus I have one also too. I also have one too for the people that need a little bit of stuff for love and for the sexual thing. You need to do this, let's say, there's a ritual for everything. So there's a ritual, the law of personal magnetism, and there's a ritual for everything, you know what I'm saying? And even if you got somebody, this might just enhance the whole affair. And so this is one also coming from Haiti too. So we got that particular ritual, so we got that type of thing going also. So if anybody interested in that, you deal with that. But please get this little particular book because I'm explaining some stuff in here, which I'm going to go into in a few minutes. Especially on the UFO thing, which I'll get into in a few minutes because, see, the white boy has understood what's going on, so he's literally blown this thing out of proportion. So the stuff that you're getting on UFO is so ridiculous now, and so they can literally chase you out of the whole piece of even dealing with it. But our particular thing on the UFO ain't going down that way, no way. So don't be waiting on no physical ship to come pick you up. That's right. That's the first damn ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour the libation. We're going to pour the libation. Oh yeah, and I got another chart. This is also going along with this, and I think you need to get this. This is another thing that's in the packet. This is the breakdown of melanin that goes through every gland of the body, and it shows whether it's from the pineal gland, all the stuff from the head is up here, and all of this is what goes through the body, as well as it shows you the part of the brain and the actual glands in the brain. You see what I'm saying? That we don't deal with, so that we don't understand. So this chart is very important also too, to give you all of the actual breakdown of the actual melanin. It says the pineal gland, third eye, a sighted chakra. It's also called the angio chakra too in India. So we also have this going along with the Napoleonic Egypt, the book, and the 2 rituals, if anybody's interested in this particular stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for a little while, we're going to take a little break. You want to do the raffle during the break? Or you want to do that all the way at the end? Okay, and then if you're interested in this particular material and stuff, you see what I'm saying, you got 2 days to get it, or whatever. Well, I don't know, because some of the rituals are going fast. And so we'll deal with that particular thing. So now, let me get my libations out so we can pour libations so I can get back on, because I want to talk a little bit about the temple thing, as well as a lot of good stuff we got to talk about now. So let me just get your libation list, and we can go ahead and do this. Yeah, so you can start beating the drums now, and we can really give them a ceremony when we're dealing with this thing and all. Then again, you know what I'm saying, it's beyond me why I ain't any more organized, but then again, that would not be us. So, you know, when you see me and all fumbling around, you know that it ain't that much, you know that all ain't lost for your own self. But, now I just added to have this. But, while I'm getting that, I don't know well. I think I put the list up here somewhere. So like I said before, for the people that wasn't here the last time, when you pour these libations, you're literally empowering your own self. That's what you must understand about libations. We thought that we was giving homage to the ancestors, and I'm quite sure that there's a lot of that is due, especially for the brothers that's passed on the last couple of years. That means we got a hell of a lot of ancestors up there. Here we go. But then again, on the other hand, this is also empowering yourself. Remember, when the ancestors leave the physical body, they all go to live in you. Because there's no such thing as space and time. And energy can never be destroyed or created, just transformed or transferred. And this time we're talking about transformation also too. So we got also good news. That's the real part about it. We're going to be dealing with the good news. These next 2 days, we're going to get into that particular good news. Because the first time, even in the history of me speaking, there's some stuff that is beyond the comprehension. Well, there is some stuff that is beyond the physical realm of nature. Most of the stuff that you've been getting the last couple of years, which was, and you can bear witness that this was the sign, even in your Bible, they tell you might not know the day or the hour, but you would know the season. Well, you know the season based on the weather. You see what I'm saying? And you've been bearing witness to the weather for the last 6-7 years, but especially the last 1 or 2 years. You see, especially with your whole El Nino and your hail bob and just all kinds of stuff and all that. I guess you bear witness to the weather the last couple of days or whatever, a week worth. But my point is, No, just keep on going. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I ain't started lecturing here. We got to get it. This is for them, so don't worry about that. Yeah, got to get that right. Got to get them lectured. So anyway, basically, now we have something that's above just the physical laws of nature. And we're going to get into that today too. This is really a happy time. And the prophet is shaking in his boots. Really shaking in his boots. So let's deal with this right now. Okay, you know the deal now. So let's see. Was there any person in the neighborhood that's down, that passed away, somebody that's, that was real, maybe the last year or so, somebody that was, somebody that did something for black people? You see what I'm saying? Let's give a dedication. What is a person from this area that was real famous in the struggle or did something? Anybody? Give it in the last 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Can anybody think of anybody? Anybody close and personal, somebody, let's say, is passed on or whatever the deal is? What's that?
Oh, fellow Riddle. Used to be a jazz artist, just to sing Avenue.
And when did she pass on?
Like 9, 7.
Okay, now what's Charles Angus? What was he? Warrior. So we got Charles Angus. Charles Hankerson. And what's the other one?
Oh, that's Ophelia.
Reynolds. So we got Charles Hankerson and Ophelia Reynolds. So we're going to get into the first shot out of
Right there on Avenue, back in the day.
Yeah, okay. Ashe. Okay, so that's the first name you do it all. So ready? Yeah. I say Raina. I say Chronos. I say Rita. I say Others. I say Titanus. I say Hebron. I say Mizraim. I say Thebes. I say Ithias. I say Colia. I say Cyrus. I say Phoebe. I say Thea. I say Prometheus. I say Epimenius. I say Atlas. I say Metis. I say Heracles. I say Persia. I say Jason. I say Johnson. I say John Nessie. I say Ron Nessie. I say Soot Nessie. I say Soot Nubis. I say Nuke. I say Abbott. I say Tiger. I say Selkin. I say Fashet. I say Fashet Setu. I say Bintu Sibaraha. I say Bintu Sente. I say Ramanatu. I say Titan. I say Hera. I say Omitutu. I say Anitutu. I say Ilitutu. I say Tutu Electra. I say Kotika. I say Koki Aru. I say Koki Hio. I say Koki Oko. I say Koki Enda. I say Koki Parababa. I say Akababawaya. I say Mojo Obola. I say Mojo Obohitu. I say Mojo Obohitu. I say Yurulare Orulare Gilu. I say Ikamasi Bobo. I say Babalasa Bobo Ilo. Ikamasi. I say, by the way, this is one of the best books you can get for libation.
Okay.
We did libation with one of these books about 2-3 years and it just crashed. So that's one of the best ones you can get right here. Take care of everything. How much does it cost? About $1 right here. You can get one of these. I say Ain Saw. I say Ain Saw the Buddha. I say Sephra. I say Tella. I say Shakma. I say Bina. I say Da. I say Chet. I say Gebera. I say Tiferet. I say Nakka. I say Khan. I say Yaseh. I say Malkuth. I say Philippa. I say Yedea. I say Shekinah. I say Lilitu. I say Layla. I say Allah. I say Inanna. I say Tayamat. I say Akingu. I say Uranus. I say Rhea. I say Gaia. I say Osea. I say Kahudi. I say Maya. I say Philibis. I say Kintu. I say Mont. I say Ta. I say Ra. I say Sut. I say Sut Nessie. I say Sut Heheru. I say Anfu. I say On. I say Sut On. I say Sheikh On. I say Nether. I say Yimad. I say Odin. I say Frida. I say Balna. I say Laki. I say Saw. I say Brian. I say Frida. I say Sip. I say Nesbitt. I say Asa. I say Stelios. I say Magneto. I say Jupiter. I say Mars. I say Helios. I say Venus. I say Mercury. I say Diana. I say Ramin. I say Vishnu. I say Ramini. I say Shakti. I say Shiva. I say Siva. I say Hanuman. I say Anasuda. I say Sita. I say Lakshmi. I say Shensia. I say Papagay. I say Loa. I say Hoodoo. I say. All right. Namawaluedo. I say Marasha. I say Bridget. I say Adamway. I say Ogu Kareli. I say Baphomet. I say Ogu Shango. I say Azuli. I say Legba. I say y'all. I say, Rishimoku. I say, Moya. I say, Yumo. Carl. I say, Bob. I say, Am. I say, Ku. I say, Sahu. I say, Net. I say, Captain. I say, Sekim. I say, Hotel. I say, Sook. I say, Sook. I say, Hustle. I say, Right Heaven Suki. I say, Heaven Raha. I say, Public Rock. I say, Hama. I say, Yama. I say, Bob. I say, Nam. I say, Hama. I say, Nomu. I say, Yumu. I say, Yumu. I say, Kumu. I say, Unitarian. I say, Uzimu. I say, Uzimu. I say, Uzimu. I say, Ikingu. I say, Rambo. I say, Uzimu. I say, Uzimu. I say, Rambo. Ramimki. I say, Muzimu. I say, Mamu. I say, Abdal. I say, Oba. I say, Iba. I say, Aba. I say, Lunadol. I say, Sunbel. I say, Akshi. I say, Private Munra. I say, Mr. Sing. I say, Bodo. I say, Do. I say, Bo. I say, Dodo. I say, Dodo. I say, Bob. I say, E. I say, Mawa. I say, C. I say, Malamisa. I say, Leba. I say, Akanapon. I say, Akra. I say, Nakron. I say, Sansabon. I say, Malambo. I say, Sansabon. I say, Kanapon. I say, Shimi. I say, Sansabon. I say, oh, keep on going. Zulu. I say, Shemigara. I say, Handshaw. I say, Hira Hotel. I say, Yo Sato. I say, Dagon. I say, Azazo. I say, Azazil. I say, Azrael. I say, Samuel. I say, Heniel. I say, Rubiel. I say, Lakmiel. I say, Heniel. I say, to all gods known and unknown. I say, to all the ancestors known and unknown. I say, so, 1, 2, 3, start calling out your ancestors. 1, 2, 3, the Hemmitt family, Shaw family, Davis family, all my ancestors members. 1, 2, 3, start calling out your ancestors. Ashe, 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 Ashe. To all gods known and unknown. To all ancestors known and unknown. All right. Okay, so either way, it didn't matter whether we ran out of water. All the water in the bucket. So, it got that. Now, first of all, we need to understand what's going on. Why is it that when we go to other places, when I go to other places, and I'm telling you, all over the country, if I go to doggone Orlando, Florida, if I go to Jackson, Tennessee, the brothers and the sisters that's in the consciousness that understand and feel something about it, they don't like what's going on, and just not walking around dead. They all have the same vibe. That is because the prophecy said, and it was prophesied based on something called the gallery, which was the prophecy in the Hermetic mystery that was brought into Europe by the Moors in Spain, and later on retranslated off of Moorish documents into a movie called Highlander. Highlander 1. In Highlander 1, all the Highlanders are good, but in the Highlander 1, Sean Connery, who says he's an Egyptian, you just draw a parallel, or the gypsy Egyptian, he says he's an Egyptian, he says that you are immortal, which means you can't get killed, when basically you are immortal too. You can lose your physical body, but your spirit keeps reincarnating over and over to be at a certain time that we're in now. So that's what the immortality is. It says you must walk the earth and go through these particular cycles, which you're doing either in the physical, out of the physical, or back in the physical. It's the same thing. You got to draw a parallel because it's talking about you. Until the great gathering that will be in a country far, far away. Now, he's in Scotland at the time. You see what I'm saying? And all this stuff, you can break down all this stuff historically to document what I'm saying based on the African origins of Scotland and the African origins of Ireland and Britain, even in your boy's book, Ancient and Modern Britain. You got that? What's his name? MacRitchie. MacRitchie, that's it. David MacRitchie. Ancient and Modern Britain. So now that particular Highlander series is a theatrical rendition of the same shit. Basically the Christ figure. But it says that, now they're in Scotland, and he says we must walk the earth as an immortal until we gather together in a land far away that has not been established yet. And that land at the time we was talking about was America. You see what I'm saying? Was America. Now we have the Hermetic text, which the Hermetic text is, you have the Hermetic text. You got 3 books. one book was out of print because black people didn't buy it. Was Thrice Great Hermes by G.R.S. Mead. Did you ever get that? Yeah. You still can get it? Yeah. Is it on hardback or you get it Chesterton? Yeah. I asked the man here because he got one of the best libraries on the East Coast. So, you know what I'm saying. But don't be alarmed because most people know if you got a good library, don't loan out none of your shit. That's the key to having a good library, especially when you're dealing with niggas. Don't loan out no shit. If a book is not that important for a person to go buy, fuck them. They don't need it.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? Because niggas don't have no problem going and buying albums. You see what I'm saying? Or any other type of shit. Or flicks or anything else. They can get all that stuff, but they won't go and get the book. So the hell with them. That's right. Don't loan out your shit, because you won't get it back. I do that when I was collecting albums. Don't loan out your stuff, because you won't get it back. So my point is this here, but so you can still get it Chesterton, G.R.S. Mead, Thrice Great Hermes. Then you got Walter Scott's book, Hermetica. That came out in it. So G.R.S. Mead book came out like 1909 or something. Around the same time that Massey and all those particular people, Then you got Thrice Great, that's Thrice Great Hermes, 3 volumes, but it was in one. Back in '92 they put it out in 1 volume. By Samuel Weiser for $50, but black people didn't buy it because it cost too much money. So now it's out of print. Yeah. Then you have the Hermetica by Walter Scott. It's something like $16, and it's a very good copy. But the most and those that's like 1930 something. So you didn't get most of the Hermetic material there hadn't been anything translated since the 1930s on this stuff. But there's a new book out called Copenhagen. It's a book called Hermetica. It's an orange and green book by Copenhagen. That's the one you want to get also. See, anytime you get some old, if you get any ancient material, just don't go, I got this. One thing you know about ancient material, if you got one, there's different translations. You try to buy, if there's 10 of them, you buy 10. You see, like the Book of the Dead, you say, I got the Book of the Dead, I got a budget. So no, you got to buy them. You got to buy every one out there because we're talking about different translations. And anytime they translate ancient material, you got to buy everything out there. You see, so there's a new book. Now, the key with the new book is they got what is called the Nag Hammadi Library that was dug up in 1945 in Egypt, which is the Gnostic stuff. Well, the new book by Copenhagen, Hermetica, this book was put out in '92, so it is the latest material. And he has the Nag Hammadi text synthesized, plus all of the stuff that they found throughout the years, the last 50 years, synthesized into one book. And it's called Hermetica by Copenhagen is his name. That's the one you want to get also. You want to get as many translations. Then you have your Version of the World by Anna Kingsford and Maitland, as well as the Divine Commander by Anna Kingsford and Maitland. Those were the ones from the 18th century. Key was, the 1800s, 19th century. The key is, we know that when we have the thing about a people gathering in a faraway land, we have it documented because it is documented by Tahuti to Imhotep. And you probably heard me talk about this, where Imhotep, they tell him about how Egypt is going to fall and what used to be the kingdom of the gods. And I sold some of that the last time I was here. Will be one big graveyard, and he said life will be referred to death, and the righteous man will be considered as a common criminal. Yes. And the impious man will be admired, and the weak man will be considered strong, and the strong man will be considered weak, and death will be referred to, preferred than life. That's right. And also, Imhotep starts crying, and he says, well, when are we going to get out of this? And Tahuti says, because he's reciting the oracle, so the spirit is actually Tahuti talking to him in his higher self. It's a combination going on. That's how he would do these things. He said, well, you will get out. He said, there will be a land. Oh, shit. I don't want to touch that wrong. There will be a land in the west, where in the land of, it will be a land far away at the setting of the sun, which is the west. That all races will come by water and by land and, to come and live there. And there will be an extremities of Kemet or Egypt that will be in that land, which is you. You are the extraction from ancient Kemet. Out of Egypt I will call my son. And it says it will be in that land that the extremities of those particular ones will rise up and Maya will be established. He said, well, who are these people? He said, well, they now live in the Libyan hills. Well, Libya, before it was taken over by Gaddafi, Well, not adopted by Arabs. Might I add, I get that thing also. It was all black. So he was just talking about basically the African people. You see what I'm saying? That would have been hitting the head, taken across the Atlantic, and that whole 9 yards. So your whole Highlander mythology that came out, your series that came out in 85, 86, and might I add, it came out the 10-year anniversary of the death of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as well as the 20-year anniversary of the death of Malcolm X. Everything is in a cycle. They put out the Highlander thing, and the Highlander thing, the Highlanders were ancient black Moors. That was your Highlanders.
Right.
That's what your Highlanders was. Now, in your boys' book, they bear witness because there's a group. They bear witness in the new Robert Anton Wilson's book. Everything is under control. They talk about Noble True Ali up in there, and then he has a footnote of a white boy by the name of Bob Quinn. When you look it up, they talk about Bob Quinn. He's giving all this stuff based on Britain, the old type bloodline that is only in West Africa, but common it's not common at all in Europe, but among the Irish, they got this old type bloodline. It talks about it talks about that they found a Celtic cross, and it has the word Bismillah on it, which means Allah. So we know that the only people who could have brought it up was the Moors. You see what I'm saying? And it also, they got the word Esau, which is also the same word as Jesus. You see all of this particular stuff. Then they talk about how the West Africans can dance with their body, the top part of the torso rigid, standing rigid, but the bottom part of the feet moving rapidly. And they said, and you know that now to be that river dance. So when you see that river dance shit, that's fundamental West African. That's where they got it from. They just cultivated something, and that's why they pumping this stuff. Because everything now is, you see, so he talks about that, and he talks about how St. Patrick never existed, and how the Moors covered up the fact that these slaves, these particular slaves, that they covered up the fact that that the Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland was all colonized by some Gnostic Moors from West Africa or North Africa. You see what I'm saying? So it's all in Robert Anton Wilson's new book, Everything is Under Control. Which now, because all your stuff based on conspiracy theories, a lot of that is coming from the Christian people. Even Bill Cooper was a Christian. You see what I'm saying? He even said he wouldn't have a problem with the New World Order if he was included. He was just mad that they didn't include him. So a lot of you get to spend. So Robert Anton Wilson was a person that was writing this particular material years ago. But he was writing it in fiction. So when Harper and Rowe wanted to get their handle on what was really going down, they went to the real authority on the whole secret societies and underworld cultures that the Europeans run the world. And in his new book, Everything is Under Control, they deal with all that type of stuff. But the key is the real historical document is ancient and modern Britain. Britain. Ancient and modern Britain. What's the guy's name again? McRitchie. Yeah, and so that's the key document in all 2 volume 1 and volume 2. Now the key is they put this your whole Braveheart shit. Braveheart? That was all done with the Moors. That was a fight between the Moors and Britain. Because remember they said, we can't kill them off, we'll breed them off. Now how you gonna breed all white people if y'all all the same rappers? See what I'm saying? Very key. Now, the Highlander thing was a mythology, but all that stuff is also talking about the Grail mythology, which I think people saw the movie Merlin. But go back and read, you need to buy a copy of Excalibur. They sell it for like $10. The movie Excalibur, and Merlin is Tahuti, but also Merlin is Moorland. The Moor. That's where you get your word Moorman from, the Moorish men, Moorman. That was started by the Moors. Their chief saint is El Morey. El Morey. So that's why, and so the key is, it's just like anything else. Anytime they start something, once the founders either die off or leave, then it's tradition for crackers to always turn it around. So therefore, you understand the reason why they was calling black people the devil in the actual Moorish Bible the Moorish Bible, the Book of Mormon, is because they knew the truth. Anytime the crackers know the truth, they always will print something derogatory or something negative out there because they're trying to cover up the truth. Always. But the Mormon, all of that stuff is started by the Moors. You see what I'm saying? Even in the book, Ice, the Ultimate Disaster. This is very key stuff because this all sets up. This is all relative to why we are here now doing this. Richard Newman's book, Ice, the Ultimate Disaster, that they just re-released again. In that book in the back, they talk about a whole lot of stuff on the Masonic part of the book in the back. They talk about some stuff about the United States. And he mentions in there that they found, in the 1800s or something, they found these tablets with Akhenaten's hymn on them. And they found them in Oklahoma. In the 1800s, now remember how they didn't even know that Akhenaten existed until the 1800s when they dug up this damn temple at Tel Alamana. But in the 1800s, they found some tablets of Akhenaten's hymn in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma. He also goes and quotes in there that when they first came to America, they had a group of Indians in Maine speaking and writing hieroglyphic, metal. It's in the Richard Newman book. Now, I know this Oklahoma thing because my last name is Hemmitt. Didn't change that. That's a fundamental Egyptian name. It's in the hieroglyphic dictionaries, Hemmitt, as well as Hemmitt, the Hemmitt spirits, or the Hemmitt spirits, and it means the class of beings that will be, it says, it's quoted, a class of beings that will be around in the end days. So maybe the reason why I just left all my shit when I turned in 28 is because it was a spiritual quest. Something that was done a long time ago, because we are all agreeing to do something that we supposed to do a long time ago. What's that, brother?
Oklahoma is part of the Louisiana Purchase, which is part of Washington.
The whole Washington nation now. The Empress Bernice went down to Oklahoma. Now remember, Empress Bernice was saying it recently. The woman with the Louisiana Purchase, and now that they gave her back Monroe, Louisiana. She said in 95 that it was interesting because when they blew up the fucking Edward R. Murrow building, what the name of that building, they blew up in Oklahoma, then a lot of her papers was up in the building. And I remember this because my grandfather, on my father's side, when I asked, well, how did you get this name? They said, well, it's mysterious. It's got a lineage that was not a slave lineage, but it had something to do. This guy ended up in Oklahoma in his whole 9 yards, but it had something to do out of Oklahoma. So my point is, what we're doing is we're drawing the connection of how this particular stuff is going down. Now, based on this is very key. You have your Excalibur, which everybody says that's a movie about you, Merlin. And then they put out the movie Merlin recently, you see. But anyway, that's nothing but the ancient black man. Now, the Arthurian mythology you think is Britain was actually came from Ireland. It was an Irish tale that the Moors introduced into Ireland. You see, even in your book, Rundles and Clark book, Egyptian Symbols and Myth, they talk about that your round table in King Arthur is a carbon copy of the Osirian drama, and it's taken right out of that. So, but it's a Greek form of that particular part, I believe, because the Moors combinated all of the fragments of the ancient world and brought it into Europe to teach the savage Europeans, and they had to do that. That was based on destiny. Now, how did that? But it had to go that way. So I'll explain that in a few minutes. But anyway, it was an Irish thing, and later on, when Britain started ruling Ireland and all, they literally got the actual mythology, and they named Camelot Britain. And King Arthur's Britain. But King Arthur is King Otho, this in the Sirius mystery book, as well as Robert Graves' Greek myth in Sirius mystery. Look up Otho, and that's talking. And Otho means the dog star, Sirius. So King Arthur's a form of Osiris. But anyway, Britain got the story from Ireland. Now the key is they're trying to front that Camelot is supposed to be Britain. That's why they killed fucking Diana. Diana was supposed to name her first son Arthur, but she named him Philip. That was one of the damn. There's a lot of stuff they took out for marrying the black man. getting pregnant by the black man. You know that whole thing, that sand nigga over there. But the main key was she was supposed to name that first boy Arthur. And she didn't, because they're trying to front this particular divine origin of stuff. And they are only kings and queens based on fantasy. You see what I'm saying? They're kings and queens, royalty only in the mind, because the royal purple blood means melanin. It's a form of Osirianism coming out of Hemmitt. So the purple blood of what you call your purple heart, all of that shit is based on melanin and alchemy. Purple is one of the top crowning principles of alchemy, because your actual brow chakra, which is the third eye, is lavender. You see? So the whole purple shit and the whole royalty shit comes all the way back to Africa. They made a movie about Osiris in '96 called The Phantom, with the purple on. And his father they keep replacing each other, and they are known, you see what I'm saying, one gets killed, another one comes up and takes the place. It's an African concept. The Phantom, you see. Now, the key is, so this Camelot was not Britain. They named it Britain, but Camelot means, Cam means what? Egypt, New Kim, the new black lot, Camelot. You see? It's also documented in Ernest Scott's book, People of the Secret. Is that still in print?
Yeah.
People of the Secret is also in that document. So Camelot. So where was Camelot? It was a Moorish mythology of the New Egypt. Now anybody on the damn earth knows that the New Egypt is the United States of America, because it is the only one from its inception from its major cities up to its capital that is steeped in the Camite symbology, as well as the Egyptian motherfuckers being over here. Because it can't be Britain. So this is the chief civilization of the Western world, as Kemet was the chief civilization of the Eastern and classical world. You understand where I'm coming from? So now, it was talking about a race of God beings that will rise up in the last days and establish Camelot, the round table, which is the circle, and the dot, which is the pineal gland and the third eye that we show. That we show. You see. Y'all getting this? Yeah, we establish the ground, because this is very key right now. If we're sitting at this particular time, because the key is the upper room of the kingdom of the gods on earth has already been established. It's been going on for the last 12 or 13 years. With the resurrection of the Nation of Islam, the reintroduction of knowledge of the Moorish Science Temple, the whole establishment of the ASCAT. You see what I'm saying? And the Afrocentric thing with all the illustrious scholars, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, and all of that particular thing, which is talking about even Avalon. When you get the word Avalon, that's right here. The Isles of Avalon. You hear all of that particular stuff. But anyway, this particular thing of what we're dealing with here is very key because anytime you see the circle with the dot, you put this right there. See, where's, okay, see, yeah. Okay, got that. Okay, that, yeah, I think that's the one, yeah. So that, and let's see, we go zoom. Oh, focus, here we go, focus. Okay. This is the Dogon aspect. Now, hold on 1 minute. Now, let's see. Why I go back. This is the Dogon aspect of, you also have, this is the Dogon aspect of the star Sirius. But you also see this is a form of the round table. This is a form of the round table. You see what I'm saying? The round table is also, the knights of the round table is also your Kundalini. The Kundalini, which the round table would be the circle. Anytime you see a circle, then you will see things when you will see a circle with a point in it. Anytime you see a circle with a point in it. This is your round table. So the round table is in your head. And the only people that can be knights of the round table, the word knight is a Moorish term. It means black. Arabian Nights. So the Arabian Nights are black people. You see. So the knights of the round table can only be black people in Camelot, New Black land. You see what I'm saying? But the story was a Moorish story. It was talking about the United States of America other than Britain. You understand where I'm coming from? Other than Britain. So you got to understand the science on what's really going down here. You see. So, getting back to my initial thing, the gathering was based on all forms of consciousness. I don't care whether it's Nation of Islam. I don't care whether it's Imam Esau or Dr. York. I don't care what kind of knowledge it is, what type of groups. Still something other than basic, fundamental Christianity. And then we can add in a few sincere brothers and sisters or preachers in the churches, which I think is as far as the hall from the moon and shit, if you can find some. And if they are, they ain't teaching it to their congregation, so they still niggas. Okay. You see what I'm saying and all. And all. And our point is right now, if a black person come up to me from the church, oh, I understand what you're saying, brother, and I get what all you're trying to say and all that kind of shit here, and he's not teaching it to his people, then fuck him. You just as bad as the cracker or anybody else. I don't want to hear that shit. Make a damn stand. Teach it to them, and if they run you out of the place, that means that's not a place you need to go. Yes, sir. Be in the first place. How many people got left from the church and took about a good 10 or 15 members with them? That's all the fuck you need. And sacrifice and damn the check. You see what I'm saying? So that's very key that you understand that. The point is, the gathering, we have seen the gathering with a resurgence of knowledge within the last 10 years. You understand? In some form, you see, of alternative knowledge. You get where I'm coming from? That is the gathering that they're talking about in Highlander. You see, they're coming together. You see what I'm saying? In Highlander. That is the gathering that is prophesied. You see. So your whole Exodus story is taken from some of the same Hermetic material, as well as Jason and the Argonauts. Go rent Jason and the Argonauts. It's on video now. But also you can get the story of Jason in several books. In several books. All your Greek mythology talks about the particular Jason and the Argonauts, which is talking about taking a group of these most talented people, putting them in a boat and sailing from the east, which is basically Hemmitt, all the way to America. And that's your slave trade. It's into Jason and the Argonauts. Now, we come to find out that the guy who wrote it, Apollonius, who wrote the story, just so happened to be the director of the Library of Alexandria. So there you go again. Here's this story, and the motherfucker mysteriously wrote that's so profound, talking about the slave trade and talking about these people that's going to the end of the world, Caucasus, to get the golden fleece, which is the same as the ram, the lamb, and the whole Christ figure on the tree. And yet, all of a sudden, Apollonius just so happens to be the director of the Library of Alexandria. And you know that the story was literally lifted out of the Library of Alexandria and presented as if it's a Greek myth. You got to understand what's going on in this particular time. But we're talking about this particular gathering. And this is very key that you understand that at this particular time, that you are the ones that's coming. There is no spiritual people coming from out of those skies, although you might come out of the sky when you get what is called your glorified bodies. Right. But the spiritual people in all world mythology that is prophesied to come back is the Christ family, you see what I'm saying, which is talking about the people who went through the hells to do this. Not Africa, not the Caribbean, I hate to say it. Now why you say, well, why not them? Because you got to understand, everything is based on initiation and preparation. Right. And everything is based on this. Those particular brothers and sisters are waiting on us because they are not privy to the particular knowledge. We are the only technically advanced people that is in every situation or every actual part of society that can deal with this particular thing. Plus, we're the only one that truly know this white man is the devil. You see what I'm saying? You see, now why you say that? Because you got to understand this particular part. If I'm born in Ethiopia, maybe the 98% of the actual people that's going to be my antagonist is going to be the Arabs. So no matter how much history I read about the white man and how he took over the earth, because I don't have a history of dealing with him as an actual enemy, I can't truly understand.
That's right.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, we've had colonization, but you must understand the ramifications of some of these countries have just been decolonized within the late 20th century. So they're somewhere in the 1930s, no matter how much they come over and think they're superior to you, because I got to call this shit because it's getting out of hand.
That's right.
And I got to call it for the brothers and sisters that's from the continent, because they don't understand that it is a government program. I'm going to get on this right now.
Go ahead.
First of all, before I do that, we're the most privy to the knowledge just dropped right in the United States. They can't go to every damn Barnes and Nobles, bars, and bookstores in the Caribbean and on the continent and just buy this material. It's only here. So we're the ones that's been privy to the particular knowledge. Because we're the only ones also that went through the Christianity bullshit.
Right.
Various aspects of other type of religion on up till we have tried everything to the particular point that we reach the apex dealing with ancient civilization. Hemmitt, Samaria, Mesopotamia, Atlantis, Lemuria, and even Greece, because that was the black shit too. The Etruscans. You see what I'm saying? But the key I'm trying to say is this here, and I'm not trying to doggone break nothing up, but I got to tell you what's going on, because the white boy understands this. Now, we've had people to prey on the community for years. It was first the Jews, then it was the Arabs, now it's the Koreans, and now they got a new nigger in town, and that's the damn African. Now, let me explain this thing to you, and although the African might not know the game, he's falling for the bullshit. First of all, we are all the same damn people. So I can call out the fucking family members because I got to tell you what's going down. First of all, because the African don't view us as being their brothers and sisters wholeheartedly. They don't see us as Africans. Let's cut the damn bullshit. You see what I'm saying? We are some monster that is created by either some British or some French or some Arab people on the continent that told them motherfuckers we savage, we all the same damn people. Now, that's neither here nor there, but you need to understand the way the system works. I'm seeing it in Atlanta and I'm seeing it in New York. So they got to understand, and I'm not taking no prisoners for the simple fact they got to understand the white boy studies us and he understands our behavior based on all our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And he's starting to use that to fight against his only true enemy, which is the North American black man and black woman that has somehow in their life heard that this man is the devil and can bear witness from some family member getting their ass whipped.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Now, what they're doing now is they got new things going on. For the future, in order for you to get a green card, it doesn't matter what race you are. But including Africa, they got to show films and propaganda films and go to class and find out how so-called savage the black man and black woman is in America. This was a form of a brainwashing technique. If it hadn't already started, that's the new thing on the agenda.
All right.
But I've already heard from some brothers and sisters from the continent that they watch films on us. In order to get their green card, they got to go through and they got to tell these particular people that basically we are a degenerative people and we're their enemies, in so many words. And they don't need to damn concern themselves with us. The number two step is this, and it's happening, is they're starting to set them up in the businesses that used to be Koreans, Hispanics, Arabs, and that whole 9 yards. They're starting to, not Hispanics, but you know what I'm saying, Arabs and that whole 9 yards, they're starting to set them up up in the actual businesses, in the actual businesses and stuff, all in New York City. They've taken over several different things, and this is a form of mind control as well as a form of another form of oppression where you're going to get the African talking down to your ass and treating you with a heavy hand like the Korean did.
Right. That's right.
And they're doing it already in the major cities. In Atlanta, they got several white businesses that won't hire anybody but Ethiopians. The cabs are now all Ethiopians or Nigerians. And the cab companies won't hire you if you're black. There's several different companies, and the reason why they're doing this is to divide something to get a new oppressor. This is the key. And because the brothers and sisters can't bridge the gap because most Africans are historically illiterate. Bottom line, this is the way this shit is. They talk shit about us and tell you what time it is. Because if they're going to fall for the okie doke, I ain't hearing it. Because ain't no damn solidarity when this goddamn cracker going to use these people against us. Because of them being historically illiterate, they don't understand that this is a global conspiracy to separate Africans from around the diaspora. You see what I'm saying? Still killing them. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. So if you don't think the white man your enemy, don't be looking at me as your enemy, because I'm going to show you what this cracker doing in a few minutes. In a few minutes. But anyway, they are running this thing as a global conspiracy. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, they're trying to create a new class of black man as the overseer of the same old downtrodden North American Negroes. Right. Now the first thing is we understand that we can fuel the perception of black people because we got niggas out here act like fools, walking around and dead. But the key is the ability of the African to not have enough intellectual ability to separate different forms of society and understand that we got different levels of the society, and not all black people walking around in the project with no rollers in their motherfucking hair. You understand what I'm saying? Germans are stumped. You see what I'm saying? Just like you got different degrees of brothers and sisters on the continent. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But because they can fool this thing and all, you can be, they can fool this thing, you can be a doggone PhD with a $50,000 suit on. And you still are looked and viewed as the same person, not like the white man do you. Right. So this is the new nigga they doing right now. You got to understand what's going down. It's real big in New York, and they start to come to black people with heavy hands. Cursing black people out and all kinds of stuff because there's no respect for the simple fact they don't understand they're part of a global conspiracy and the white man is dividing his fucking people. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So enough of this damn nonsense about there being different kinds of doggone indigenous people. Fuck that shit. That's right. You see what I'm saying? So who's the real asshole here when you don't even control no land on the continent?
Right. You know they're working on the black folks next.
Now, this is the key. There's 75,000 Africans dying a month from AIDS. So who's the real asshole? The love is cracking to death and don't understand that 85 or 95% heterosexual country and you 75,000 people dying from AIDS? A month. 3 million babies on a good year die each year. In Africa, that's UNICEF reports. Now that, and you remember now, when the crackers do some shit, that's always a conservative estimate. Right. On a bad year. Say they got some famine somewhere, 5 million die a year. Yeah. Now I just named 2 programs, the AIDS and basically the children where they exterminate or based on poverty or whatever die each year. I didn't name all the other thousands and thousands of programs that they're killing the Africans, where the African is the most depopulated continent on the earth. They have basically gotten rid of the majority of equatorial Africa and indigenous Africa, and the only thing that's left now is a few niggas walking around in the damn cities. That's it. So even when you go to Africa, the only people that you actually see is the ones that it's on designated cities. So remember now, the other African don't know what the other African is doing because he can't get in no car and drive to Kenya from no Ghana. Right. They keep it a jigsaw puzzle, and you might have to get in down 2 or 3 airplanes just to get 30 miles down the road. Right. And that's because the white boy keeps it as a jigsaw puzzle so he can control things. But what they don't realize is they have literally wiped out most of the brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa is only the ones that you see now that was the so-called colonized Negroes within the inner city. And that's very few compared to the massive bulk stock of Africa is dead. They wiped them out. In the last 20 years, they have killed maybe 500 million, maybe a billion. That's how many people. If you could see America in Africa 5 times, you see what I'm saying? And you got 225 million people here. You understand what I'm saying? Can you imagine how many Africans? You see what I'm saying? About a damn billion. So my point is, huh?
By the end of this year, they want to knock another billion niggas off.
You see, my point is in there. So they have killed them, and half of that's for the melatonin program. We'll get into it in a few minutes. But my point is, they're getting rocked the hardest and gonna come over and treat us with a damn heavy hand and don't even know what's going on their own fucking continent. The crackers killing them off every day, and they say they want to be white. So who's the real nigga here? These black people in this country got some sense of even racism, even your most conservative Uncle Tom. He might be a damn fool, he might be crazy, but it's not that he don't know what time it is and he don't know that that cracker can kick him in the ass on any turn. You see what I'm saying? He knows. He's a schizophrenic fool, but it's not like he don't know. So we're a new brand of Negro. You see what I'm saying? So let's deal with some things right now. So that's what things we got to deal with. So the gathering, let's not make no bones about it. The gathering is here. Because most Africans now is French. You see what I'm saying? British, Arabs, and maybe fucking Christians.
This is it.
How pathetic.
It's on.
At least that's all we knew. Well, I'm a Christian. What kind of shit is that? I ain't know. The hell with it. We gotta tell the truth. If we're gonna tell the truth on what's really going on. Because it ain't all this wearing the African clothes and talking about Africa. Africa don't give a fuck about us. But then again, now we're not saying that as an ignorant people. We know what time it is. We know what time it is. And I'm telling you, they're getting ready to use them as the new damn Koreans. And they are much vicious. And much worse. But the problem is, they ain't got no leverage. These Koreans got a function in Korea. And the Japanese got a function in Japan. Africa ain't shit, but just straight up nothing.
Right.
It's gone. But that's all prophesied. Now I know some of you all are feeling thinking you thinking you're gonna run back to Africa. It was never prophesied for you to run back to Africa. You see. It was never prophesied. It's a price. You see what I'm saying? This world has to go on a whole other plateau. So let's get into some things right now. So we've been given a great dedication to several figures like Kwame Ture, Sister Esther Rowe, who was conscious, who taught a lot of people on black propaganda and black exploitation figures of the late